आग। ये आग ही तो है, जब हवन कुंड में लगे तो तीनों लोक को पवित्र बना देती है, जब चूल्हे में लगे तो पेट की आग बुझा देती है, जब चिता में लगे तो इंसान को राख बना देती है, ये आग ही तो है। जब दिलों में लगे तो प्यार जगा देती है, जब दिए में जले तो अंधेरा भगा देती है, जब नफरत में जले तो बस्तियां जला देती है, ये आग ही तो है। और ये कुछ करने या कुछ पाने की आग ही तो है, जो इंसान को क्या से क्या बना देती है, ये बस आग ही तो है। वेलकम गाइस टू आवर चैनल अग्नि द फायर विद इन। इस चैनल पे जिस तरह के आपने अभी तक देखा है, कुछ ऐसे व्यक्तित्व आए जिन्होंने आपके जीवन में एक इग्निशन का काम किया, एक चिंगारी की काम की आपको प्रोत्साहन करने के लिए। और आज के जो हमारे गेस्ट है, दैट नीड्स नो इंट्रोडक्शन। The Swadesh in real life, the person who has left all the greatest possible dreams which we people have behind to work for the education of the country. Someone who has achieved so much in life, yet he is humble and down to earth. Someone from whom we can learn a lot of things. So, guys, today we have with us Abhishek Chakravarti sir. I hope the words which he is gonna tell us today are gonna make our lives worth living. So, to all the future entrepreneurs, to all the future leaders, to all the future revolutionaries, be prepared for today's podcast, because this is going to add so much value to your lives that yes, you'll say, today I've watched something worth, right? So, let's begin. Hello, sir. Welcome to our channel.
Hey, hi. Yeah.
Okay, sir. I think the person who's sitting next to me needs no introduction, but still, it's the flow of this show that first we need to ask the guest about themselves. So, can you please introduce yourself in a few words?
Hey, hi, Jayanto, and your entire team. It is a very pleasant surprise for me. So probably this is the very first time I'm doing this. So yeah, I'm Abhishek, and I am one of the co-worker of Huretech, and we are just trying to make education accessible for all and everyone. As we come from a very small town, we believe the value of education and the aspirations around it. So that is what we do. I do.
First of all, that's been very modest of you to say a co-worker. And about sir, the first time when I read about sir was from an article. It said, meet the Swadesh which has come to real life from the movie. That has been the path of sir, from US to India, then to working on the education sector, because education is something which we have been talking since ages. Okay, we need to do this, we need to do that. And one thing about sir which has struck out to me is that let's do it. Let's not think about it, let's do it. So let us dig deeper into it, how this happened, the shift happened from US to India, from Wall Street, the Wolf of Wall Street from to India, then coming from, it's just a transition from Wolf of Wall Street to Swadesh. See the transition and how he started working on it and how his journey has all been.
So let me tell you, I was not Ulf, I was Etenduade. Anyways, it is nothing, a story which comes with some glory, no, nothing like that. It all happened. It all happened because I always had the purpose, which was not very clear to me. I never wanted to become an insignificant person, and significance should come through great work, which we believe. I don't know still are we doing a great work or not. However, as we say that need is the mother of all the inventions. Okay, so we have seen across the world any invention which happened have actually solved the entire crisis, or at least mitigated the crisis, be it telephone, or be it an operating system, or take the example of getting taxis at your doorstep. Unfortunately, what I found, and still I am still trying to understand, why not a single platform, a single product, or a single endeavors haven't solved the entire crisis of education, whereas education, I think, is the biggest problem which we need to solve, right? So with that particular instinct, and I wouldn't say that I had this vision from the day one, I realized this vision while I started working in it. And when we when we are now here today in 2021, we have absolutely have clear sense, everybody across the world, that things really needs to change. But again, when we talk about things really need to change, it should also be agnostic of culture, demography, socio-economic, boundaries, geographical boundaries. It should be one. So if you look at windows, for an example, the same window which has been used in a very small hinterland, say in Jharkhand, the same is being used in California. The problem has been solved, right? So we wanted to come up with something which solves the global problem at one go. That is something which we are aspiring for.
uh, I believe these 8 or 9 lines which Sir has said has the meaning of a whole book. If you see, it is a summary of a whole thing. Sir, one thing I want to ask you, because you chose education sector as very specific, what you thought at that point the problems were, and right now where we are standing at a stage where you have been like more than 10 years into this sector, evolving this sector, what are the problems that actually are now at a better position? I won't say solved because they are not. And what are things which we still need to do more on this sector?
So let me tell you, 10 years is not even a micro fraction since the entire scope of learning and education came into being. However, my observations are that we don't ignite inquisitiveness, we don't promote asking questions, and that's something which really haunts me. It haunted me even when I was a child, and when my every teacher of mine was not very happy to teach me because according to them I came up with some erratic questions out of the book, out of the syllabus questions, and I was always, I was being treated as one who is a very notorious one. So I believe in asking questions, and I understand the power of questions. And why are we learning this? Why are we doing this? That requires a lot to be promoted. Unfortunately, we haven't seen much, even in this micro fraction of 10 years which I have been involved in this sector.
Exactly. The everything starts from why.
Yeah,
Everything starts from why. That's why is missing from our society.
absolutely. So if you have heard that song from Rock On, Asmaan Neela
Asmaan
Kyun Hai,
Neela.
so nobody asked a question.
We think that's a silly question. Why it is blue? Because it is nobody even asking at.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody's asking that. We need to. We need to start doing something where people start asking questions.
Okay. So
And you can simply tinker them by giving them a situation. So say for an example, you are landed up in something, then you start asking, right, how do I mitigate it? Unfortunately, we are asking them to follow a process. Everyone, every learner at every stage. We have just been given knowing that you are a medical student, a human body has been given and you just do this, that. I mean, why? I mean, you are here to treat people, and for that, you need to not only understand the anatomy, but a lot of other things behind it, right? I don't think in anything, whatever we learn today, what we do today, comes with that kind of situation. So I believe situational based learning should be the future, because when we talk about AI, even to make a machine learn, you need to take it out for a drive for 50,000 miles, whereas for a learner, probably 50 lines is good enough. But still, we don't take up that opportunity to, or that, pain to make a learner learn in a more efficient way.
So you talk about the future of education, what future can be in 20, 30 years. But this one COVID year has actually acted as catalyst in that process. It has actually enhanced the process where it was heading towards, and now it's moving with a more faster rate, sir. So where you see the education going in 30 or 40 years, sir?
You want to talk about the commercials of education?
No, not commercials, not
Yeah?
commercials, sir.
Then?
But where actually education start, like right now, the education is more about, very much about where the schools you are learning, the colleges, the degrees. But it's shifting. It's shifting. Many major giants of the world are now hiring people who don't even have a degree. What is this signifying, sir?
So yeah, academic pedigree will take a back seat. Okay, learning will definitely, you know, take a front seat. That's for sure. That's happening. Industries, as you rightly said, that industries are practicing that, and the future of education could be, absolutely disruptive. And when it comes to seeking opportunities, it will be mostly around the learning. Your learning could be the only catalyst for you to sell through. I mean, I have really no doubts about that, that only academic pedigree can help you to attain whatever you want to.
So that's from a student's perspective. Like that's where a student.
And COVID is not a disruption for a greater change. It is just a reality check. I would quote COVID as asking people to introspect whatever they are doing is right or not. Yeah.
Yes, I think COVID has given a lot of us ample time to think what we are doing and why it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so that whatever you said was from a learner's point of view. Like I'm learning the way of learning, how we're gonna learn. But if you see this as a point of view teacher, like a teacher who's going to teach a subject right now, in 30 years, how is that going to change? How your like, okay, I didn't introduce this. Sir has the very unique idea called Hooray, which is actually it is going to launch very soon, and this is actually totally going to change the way we learn.
We are trying to.
Yeah, we are trying to change
Yeah.
change the way we learn, change the way we teach. So how from a teacher's point of view, if you see how things are going to change, how the teacher has to now adopt with the things that are changing. You can't be sedentary. You can't just take the conventional method. You can't just say that okay, I'm not going to change. You have to change with the things.
So I would rather say, I would disagree with you saying that we should not take the conventional way. So when you talk about conventions, and my conventions dates back to few thousand BC ago, those conventions really need to be adopted, and not the conventions which we have created in last century should be adopted. So I would rather say we should go back to those prehistoric time, okay, where every invention had a need. Every invention happened after a need, and people pondered, people tried different ways to solve it, okay. And I think that should be back. That should be back to a certain degree. And I'm not talking about only inventing zero, okay. I'm not talking about only inventing pi, but doing every bit which has helped the humanity to move forward. So I would rather urge all the teachers to understand what their students are trying to learn, what they can cope with, how they can deal with adversities, how they can build a character. So these are the very important aspects which can take the humanity forward. Only learning could not help. You need to build a character. You need to build, certain degree of empathy. So unfortunately, we are seeing news every day. People don't have empathy anymore left. I don't know, probably they are very frustrated with their life. So we need to bring down that frustration. So as an educator, this is also a very important responsibility, that we need to empathize. We need to empathize. We need to tell them the moral values, and values are not necessarily, don't spit there. Moral values could be as good as, taking care of your human, animals, anything, of your surroundings, of your climate and everything.
Okay, so that was all the questions from the education point of view. Now let's move to your entrepreneurial side, sir. So first thing is, this is a hot debate right now, that privatization versus the PSUs, the government sector. The more and more privatization is happening. Some people are for it, some people are against it. So what's your take on it? Is it good or bad? How is it going to affect a normal person? Like a person who is going to, like he wants a job. A new individual who has just passed out needs a job. Now many are saying that now government jobs are going away. Now we won't find a jobs. The actual term is job security. That myth is there in their mind. Job security is not there now.
So I have a very different stance to it, and it is not somebody who is less competent or more competent. I have seen numerous people, numerous youngsters, they crib about what they do, okay, so or how much they do. So the first thing, when you think about the word job, okay, what does it mean? It is something, a responsibility which has been given to you, which you need to do, execute efficiently, right, and honestly. So, irrespective of the kind of employment you are into, you need to do what you are meant to do, right? So, I don't think that abolishment of government job is going to reduce the quality of teaching, learning, or execution of things, whatever in whatever sector or domain you may say, because in last 1 decade you have seen that behaviors have turned into business. So if you can tinker that behavior, if you can nourish and nurture that behavioral aspect, I mean, you are not unemployed. So I really am very hopeful about the future ahead. If somebody is competent, and competency is both ways, not the knowledge competency, but competent to take up responsibility, will do good.
Okay. That was also a very good answer, sir. Thank you. Actually, that made so many points clear. Like the points where we should actually think about, we are not focusing on that, but rest we are talking about because of the agendas and something thing. So one more thing is that there's something called entrepreneur culture. Like every country has a kind of mindset that we have already in our mind from the childhood. Like India has always been a country where we have produced less of risk takers and more of safe players. So, do you see the shift happening between the more people are taking risks, or the environment is making such people who are taking risks, or is it still the same?
It's a very controversial question. Okay. Okay, I would rather say it's not about risk. I mean, something which you love doing cannot be risk. You know, hooking Shoaib Akhtar is one of the most riskiest thing to do. But somebody who is good at that, who wants to, send the ball out of the park, would always do that. So there is nothing as so-called risk to things which you love to do. Okay, and again, I always believe that we should not follow anyone. We should have certain benchmarks. We should have certain, figures whom we can look up to. But don't look up to that extent when your neck starts paining. So I would rather have a very different stance that in my entire journey of entrepreneurship, or what you may call it, I have tried doing those things which I love doing. So I tried executing things, and thanks to the great team which I have all of my life, I could do that. So we have failed numerous times, and I always believe in the power of Pareto principle, 80-20. So, so 80 times you fail, but 20 times the small success can, end up clearing that failure from your life, and you can still sail on. So I have failed more than what I have been successful or been succeeding. Okay. So having said that, just go for it. I mean, that is something which is very important. If you have conviction, and let me tell you, you don't need to have 100% conviction. You can be even partially convinced about something and can go for it. You cannot have an utopian state for doing anything. You need to create that state. And trust me, it happens.
Okay, so the next question is, I think, a stereotypical question, I would say, but a question I think I need to know. Suppose today's Abhishek, if has been given the power to suggest something to Abhishek 20 years back, what are 3 things you want him to say that do or don'ts?
Sure.
3 things.
Oh, yeah. So today's Abhishek would have asked Abhishek way back in 2020 that don't waste your time doing your academics, number one. Okay. However, I won't say that academics didn't help me. It did, but probably I could have also have done this along with. So that is something. Second, never get carried away with what people say around you, speak about you. And third is, you never need to prove anyone anything. Yeah. Not even to your family or your parents. So that is what I would advise 20 years ago, Abhishek. Yeah.
So don't you think these are the only three things a man has to defeat before becoming who he actually is? These three things which a person actually face. You don't need to prove anybody anything.
Absolutely. And there's a saying in Spider-Man, with more power
Greater
come
powers
more,
comes greater
more
responsibility.
responsibilities. And responsibilities are definitely not something which people love to have.
Everybody wants the power, but nobody